Hello everybody, it's your residential brickologist Lego Lee here, back with another throwback Lego Star Wars set review. Today we have a Star Wars Rebels set from 2015. This is the Wookiee Gunship. This is set number 75084. It used to retail for about $70 here in the United States. Adjusted for inflation here in 2023, that's closer to $90 US. Has 570 pieces, and unfortunately, I no longer have the box, but I do have the instruction manuals that give you a look at that classic Star Wars Rebels box art. The first manual here has 56 pages of building, nothing interesting to look at though. The second manual, however, at the back, after the 38 pages of building, has a couple of interesting things going on, including a checklist for all the minifigures from the January winter wave of 2015, and an ad for the other Star Wars Rebels sets of that year. What a nostalgia trip this is. 570 pieces later, and we are done building our set. And in typical Lego Star Wars fashion, you just get the minifigures and the ship. We'll look at those figs here first. First up for minifigures here is the legend himself, Kanan Jarrus, who thankfully for Star Wars Rebels fans is actually a fairly easy character to acquire in Lego minifigure form. The same certainly cannot be said for characters like Sabine or Zeb, but Kanan here really isn't that expensive. The figure here will probably run you about $15 to $20 because he came in a number of sets, and he is a really good rendition of the first couple seasons versions of Kanan. I especially love the torso print and the way that transitions into his green arm. His face print looks great as well. Also, the ponytail hairpiece is wonderful, and the double-sided face really works. This is just a very well-designed minifigure. Two Wookiee warriors are included with this set, and getting generic Wookiees is not something super common for Lego, so it's nice to have them here. I gotta say, the detail is relatively plain, but you know what? It works. And they also have a very subtle but effective arm print. I think that is really cool. Finally, you get a named Wookiee character here. This is Wolf Warrow. I am supposed to have a crossbow piece for this guy, but it just seems to have been misplaced over the years. He's pretty much the exact same as the other Wookiee figures, but in a darker shade of brown, and he has a slightly more elaborate arm print. Really good stuff. Shifting gears, here is the Wookiee Gunship itself, iconically seen in the premiere of Star Wars Rebels all the way back in 2014, and this is the only version of this ship ever made in Lego form, making this a lot more special. Another aspect of this build that makes this thing special, the color scheme. It's primarily tan with accents of brown. It felt like I was building a Lego Hogwarts set. There are very few Star Wars sets to use this much tan besides the Cantina and some of the older versions of the Landspeeder. I wouldn't say tan is my favorite color in the world, but it definitely gives this thing a unique flair. What also gives it a unique flair are the stickers on the side here, up top, on the wings. There's quite a few of them, but they add a lot of necessary detail, which is nice. Unfortunately though, the older style Lego sticker, you can kind of see starts to damage, which isn't great. We'll kick things off looking at the nose of this ship. There's some guns right here that can move in and out. Those are very nice. And then we have two bubble cockpits. And you're probably like, wait a second, two guns at the front, two bubble cockpits. That seems familiar. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities between this Wookiee Gunship, emphasis on the word gunship, and of course the iconic Republic Gunship. Opening up said bubble cockpits, you can see inside here, it's kind of hard to get the angle, but there is a sticker for a control panel, and there is a printed tile on the floor up here for a different control panel. That all works out pretty well. What doesn't work out well is the awkward angle of the second cockpit. This gun right above it gets in the way of it opening up fully, so to get a Wookiee inside there, you really have to kind of finagle him, and I have very large, manly hands, so that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Speaking of said gun, you can move it up and down like so. I feel like rotation would have been a great asset to this play feature to get out of the way of the cockpit. That's definitely a huge miss in my opinion. What isn't a huge miss and has much better motion are these wings here, attached on using bionicle style ball joints that gives them lots of friction and and lots of range of motion while being incredibly smooth. That is really well done. The wings are also sporting a lot, and I mean a lot of firepower. You have the 6 stud shooter on either side. Very, very impressive, but be wary if you turn these things too quickly. The studs are going to go flying everywhere, and you're probably going to lose some. However, there is no reason to fear because extra shots are included here. Basically, you can move these pieces down, and there is a storage crate on the inside with a bunch of extra shots for your stud shooter. That is really nice. And this area down here isn't super tall, but it is fairly deep and there's a lot of room. You could definitely fit more figures inside there if you so choose. I really like that design. As we move towards the rear of this vehicle, you can see some greeble details up here. Those are nice, and I like these stickers quite a bit. That's a very good angle. Some of the edges around here aren't perfect, but I'll let it slide. One thing I won't let slide is the severe lack of detail on this back slope area. It feels like a few extra tiles would have really spiced things up back here. It just looks so plain. However, it does serve a purpose. Unsurprisingly, it's a ramp that can go down, which works out really well, but there's actually more than meets the eye here. You can slide out this extra little gun placement with a Wookiee on it, which I think is very cool, and this kind of becomes its own little mobile turret of sorts. However, there's actually 2 ways to use this play feature. You see, if you're swooshing this vehicle around, this can actually kind of sit on the back ramp and be used as an actual cannon for the vehicle while flying around. I think that is so much fun and so cool, and I love the fact that the Wookiee can actually sit on this and go back inside and fits in there snugly. That is really well constructed. One final thing I'd like to highlight, while they aren't retractable, this vehicle does have landing gear. These Lego City ski pieces, 2 in tan, a very unique color to get them in. Now, they are very loose, which is cool because when you put this vehicle on the ground, they will adjust to where you land. Very well done. Bringing everything together, it's time to conclude my thoughts here on the 2015 Wookiee Gunship set. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is the coolest Star Wars Rebels set Lego ever created. There are definitely vehicles more iconic than this one and more interesting to look at than this one. That being said, I just think this is a very solid set in pretty much every single way. As a display piece, which is obviously what I do with my Lego, it looks pretty good. As a play set, I think it's actually fantastic. There are tons of moving pieces, places to put figures, firing stud shooters, storage compartment, landing gear, swoosh value. This thing is jam-packed full of play, so I think it really succeeds as a toy. As a collector's piece, it is from the original premiere of Rebels, so that is cool, and 3 of the 4 minifigures included here are exclusive, which is nice. However, I wouldn't say the figures are to die for or anything. However, this is, like I said earlier in this review, the only version of this ship Lego has ever made, which makes it entirely more unique, which I personally love. Now, let's talk about the value of this set. 70 bones in 2015 definitely feels like it's about $10 overpriced for that time period with only 4 minifigures and 570 pieces, especially when you see the adjusted for inflation value over $90. That being said, I actually think it compares favorably to a $70 set in the modern era. Here is it next to the Ambush on Ferrix set from Andor that was released in 2022. So that is actually something I would compliment this set on. Now, if you want to get this set today sealed, be prepared to pay around $150. However, you can get it used for about 80 bucks, which is less than the adjusted for inflation amount. So if you really want this ship, definitely get it used, and you're not going to have to pay that much more than retail value. Overall, this is a very solid LEGO Star Wars set, which is going to be reflected in my rating of 8 out of 10. Those are just my thoughts though. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, while you're at it, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell for notifications on new videos, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you all next time with more LEGO Star Wars set reviews. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. God bless. Bye-bye.